What is up, everybody? I'm GKO, and I'm here to bring you another 10 things I learned from last week's video. And I'm gonna keep the first things just kind of plain and simple. But anyway, the first thing I learned from last week is that the earliest found drums in the world were recorded to be found back in China in 5500 BC. But of course, before that time, they were used everywhere around the globe, pretty much. The second thing I learned was that the highest recorded temperature in the world was felt in Death Valley, California at Greenland Ranch on July 10th, 1913. At 100, let me emphasize this more. 134 fucking degrees Fahrenheit. Basically, you could host the family cookout. I mean, I don't know why you would do that, but I'm just saying. The third thing I learned was that did you know that Iceland is the only country in the world that doesn't contain mosquitoes? Yes, I said it. Does not contain pesky, annoying fucks. According to scientists, it is basically the climate that is to blame for the mosquitoes not having a habitat on the landscape. The oceanic climate of Iceland keeps the mosquitoes at bay. Mosquitoes can breed in a variety of environments such as hot and humid climates as well as cold climatic conditions. They are even known to breed in Antarctica, which is the coldest place on Earth, but not in Iceland. Why? Because in Iceland, the insects get only 3 major freezes, which thaw once a year, making it an undesirable condition for their survival. There's another theory which suggests that it may have to do with something with the chemical composition of the country's water and soil. The mosquitoes apparently can't tolerate them, which is actually crazy considering that mosquitoes are everywhere in the world. So for the fourth thing, I looked online to see if plants could feel pain because I had previously knew that the aroma that you smell when the grass is being cut is the grass actually releasing a chemical into the air to let other bugs know that it's being attacked. And usually the bigger bugs would come to eat the predators of the grass. But anyway, the answer was no, and that the plants can only react to stimuli in the environment. So basically, they can only do what I just said in the previous situation. But I don't know, it's just crazy considering that plants are actually a very important organism, and then that they actually lack a nervous system and they can't even feel pain. I don't know, it's just kind of crazy, honestly. So for the fifth thing, the lean mean racing machine starts its production from the primary impulse for the testicles to produce both testosterone and sperm actually originates from the brain, and specifically the pituitary gland. Follicle stimulating hormone, or FSH for short, and luteinizing hormone, LH for short, are released from the pituitary gland into the blood and trigger sperm and testosterone development. Respectively, testosterone is immediately released into the blood and is readily available for use. The maturation process for sperm continues as they wind their way through the seminiferous tubules and into a slender worm-like appendage outside the testicle called the epididymis. This gland in turn becomes the vas deferens, and sperm is carried out to the scrotum, up through the groin, into the pelvis, and ultimately into the prostate gland. The prostate gland and seminal vesicles produce the fluid released during an orgasm and ejaculation called semen. So the sixth thing I learned was that the name Africa was actually given to the continent by the Romans. Africa was also called Kemet, Corphife, Olympia, Libya, Egypt, Hesperia, Ortegla, Ethiopia, Tamari, and Sudan. The ancient name for Africa before it was Hellenized was Akebu land, and sorry if I butchered that, which means, in quotations, mother of mankind. This itself says a lot, and it kind of actually makes sense considering that the early the modern humans actually came from Africa and eventually spread throughout the rest of the world. So the seventh thing I learned was artificial selection. And artificial selection is basically the sibling of natural selection. Artificial selection is where you have control of what changes in evolution, kind of like what Mendel did in the hereditary studies of his pea plants. But artificial selection started when humans were hunters and our ancestors, aka humans, didn't even have the idea of villages yet. So what happened was that wolves would develop a state of mind where instead of attacking the humans, and most likely this would save them from dying, they would stay close to the humans and do their biddings for them, because there was a huge chance where the human would give them food in exchange for protection. Eventually, when our ancestors started making villages and families, they would also breed these wolves for protection and their predatory skills, eventually causing the creation of dogs. The eighth thing that I learned was that the scientific study of dreaming is called onirology. And one thing that I've always wanted to learn was why we dream. We dream because when we enter REM sleep, which REM stands for rapid eye movement in case you didn't know, the unconscious part of our brain is organizing our memories and strengthening our connections from the day before that we might need in the future, and is also getting rid of the junk that might clog our brain. These electrical impulses are detected by our conscious brain, which since we are asleep doesn't really have anything to do anyway, and our cortex freaks out and doesn't know what it means, so it tries the best it can do to create a cohesive story, creating a dream. This is why our dreams are so random and consist of different emotions and feelings, when it's actually just our cortex trying to synthesize the noise from the work being done in the unconscious part of our brain. There are also many other theories about why we dream, and they might actually be in some of my later videos. The ninth thing that I learned was that iDosing is actually a drug. Well, you know what? Scratch that out. iDosing is where the user, it's basically electronic drug use, if that makes sense at all. And it's basically where the user has headphones and I guess the video that he's watching or song, whatever it is, plays different tones at different times and different vibrations and melodies and all that such. And this plays with your brain, making you, I guess, quote unquote high. And apparently there's different songs where they mimic being high from like marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy, other pills, and so on. And the thing about this is that there are actually videos on YouTube of this that you can listen to, and they can get you this kind of high, quote unquote. And speaking of drugs, actually drugs are stronger now than in the past decade. And for an example, I just read something where MDMA is nearly 3 times stronger in 2017 than it was in 2007. I also learned that the value of the illegal drug trade is estimated to be $360 billion, while the legal value is estimated to be over $1 trillion. And that'll be it for this video, guys. I'm sorry about the mic quality. I'm still trying to get comfortable talking to a mic and trying to get comfortable with my settings. So I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you guys stay having a good day. And I am out.